What up, YouTube? You're in the den with Aaron EBM. Now, today I'm shooting from the hip. Every once in a while, you have those topics that just hit you in the spirit, hit you right down in the soul, and you got to get it out before you lose it. So this is going to be one of those videos. Now, today I want to start with a story. Imagine a little girl or a little boy growing up. You know, they go to school, you go to high school, you make it all the way through, and you plan. Parents and your loved ones plan for you to go to college. They plan for you to make it. They want you to make it. They want you to be the best you can be. So of course they want you to go to college, you know, and you go, you know, not knowing what you want to do, not knowing what you really have in your personality or in your spirit to do for the rest of your life. So of course you go and then you make it to college and through all the work, all the hard work, the blood, sweat and tears, you make it through with your degree in whatever you decided to go in, you know, whether it's liberal arts, whether it's African-American studies, whether it is engineering, it doesn't matter. You make it all the way through. You end up in a job. Just like most people, you end up in a job that you really don't like because you have compounded a massive amount of debt, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of debt, like most of the Americans do when you're trying to fight and force your way to the top in search of the American dream, cars, the statuses, whatever it is you are searching for, you make it. So what happens? You get in a job that you really don't like and you really don't want to be in, but you work it. Because now you got a house or an apartment, you have a car because you have to get to and from work. You have to maintain that car. So you have bills on top of that. Now you got bills and now you have student loan debt that you have to continue to pay. And if you don't pay, you ruin your credit. You could get your cars repossessed. You could end up in a spot that most Americans, sad to say, go through. If you're lucky enough, you end up with your dream degree, with your dream job, even though you'll be in an immense amount of debt. For some people, this is okay. But for most people in the United States, that's just not the case. They'll end up with a degree that they find out that is useless and then end up having to go back to college 1, 2, or even 3 times. And this is the loop. This is the financial trap. And most people will find out they've been taken advantage of by this system when they're in their late 20s and early 30s, when they are at this job they don't like, when they're paying all of these bills. And it just seems like a never ending cycle of them getting into debt and paying this or trying to pay this debt off. You know, it's not easy finding out that you've been had or that you've been taken advantage of by the system, but that's what it is. A lot of us forget that America is a capitalist society. We live by a capitalist system, and that is what higher education has turned into. It's turned into a financial trap. But like everything else, you can beat that trap. You just have to have the building blocks. You have to have the path before you even start. A lot of people don't see this. A lot of people don't really think about this because in most people's cases, the finish line, the prize is the degree. Long gone are the days that you can just get any degree and be okay. And I know it's a shocker to some people. I know some people don't like to hear it, but that is what it is. If you want to be okay, if you want to go through life a little bit easier, not having so much debt, not having to continue to go back to college over and over again, because that's the plan, right? The plan is for them to make as much money as they possibly can. These institutions aren't nonprofit, so that's what they're there to do. They're there to get you in. They're there to continue to take as much money as they can away from you, whether it's out of your pocket or whether it's by financial loans. Loans that are, you guessed it, backed by the government. Loans that you can't get out of if you decide to file bankruptcy in some cases. In a lot of cases, and people in America, they have to file bankruptcy because they can't afford to continue to pay all the debt that they get themselves into. No, and that's the extreme. But for the unlucky people that do get into the job that pays a decent wage, that lets them, you know, live and just continue to pay off their debt and their bills and live a somewhat comfortable life, they end up stuck. They end up stuck in a place they would have to spend years and years of their life stuck in behind a cubicle, making another CEO or COO or CFO rich while you make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, you know, come in, look down on you, and the only thing they care about is the bottom line. There's a reason why that there are so many Americans on antidepressants. It's not meant for human beings to be stuck behind cubicles for hours, you know, 10, 12, 13 hours a day. Although we need to pay bills, we have to pay bills, we have to survive. There's much more to a human life than just sitting behind a cubicle or sitting at a desk all day and making a company rich. And if you listen close enough, you'll hear people say that, You are worth 2-3 times as much as your employer is paying you. Whatever they're paying you, you're at least worth double that. So if you were working for yourself, you could very well easily pay yourself double what they're paying you. That's just what it is, because these jobs are just about profit margins, about being in the black, and they can't be in the black if they can pay you the most that you're worth. That's just not how the system goes. That's just not how capitalism goes. It's making the most money, making profits while paying out the least amount of money. The number one thing is, before you start going to college, you need to figure out what that degree is going to pay, and how could you go through that college paying the least amount of money. Some people, you might have to get a job at Starbucks. I know Starbucks pays their employees for going to school, for going back to college and get a degree. My job, my place of employment does the same, but they're limited. They're only pay for education or degrees that are in STEM. In my case, that's better for me. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but that's just the way it is. The goalpost has been moved, and people need to realize that goalpost has been moved, and education and the institution of education isn't the way it used to be. But don't fret. You might feel like you're stuck. You might feel like there's no way out for you. You might feel like you're in a position where you cannot move, and you have to pay this for the rest of your life. If you have responsibility, if you have children, you feel like you can't just up and do what you want to do, because you have that responsibility, and you have your retirement, you have your bills that I spoke about earlier. But there is hope. There is a way for you to do the things that you want to do in life. Life is a lot better when you're not backed into a corner and made to feel like this is your life. Your life is nothing but paying off your debt and making the company owners rich. You have to think of them as just another door for you to be the person you want to be and get to where you want to be in life. It will happen. You can make it out of this. You can live the life that you want to live with determination. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will lose out on things. Yes, you will have to sacrifice some different things to make it there, and things will happen to you. All good things doesn't happen to you. You are guaranteed in America life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That doesn't mean that you're going to get everything that you want when you want it at the very time that you want it. We're guaranteed the pursuit of happiness. A lot of places, they don't even have the pursuit, and your outcomes depend on your level of determination in that pursuit. But don't fall for the trap, people. Yes, get educated. I don't have any problem with education. I know people probably are frowning up right now at the video. You can do what you want. I'm going to continue to tell people that, yes, education is good, but don't be a fool about education. Don't let them romanticize you with the paper, with the degree, and make you feel like no matter what happens to you on this journey, no matter how much debt you got on this journey, that as long as you got the degree, it's all worth it. No, be smart about it, people. You can do this. If you got your degrees, if you got it in debt, work yourself out of it. Put some, you don't need HBO Max, you don't need Netflix, you don't need Hulu, you don't need Disney Plus all at the same time. Take some stuff out, pay some bills off, get out of debt, so you can start planning for your multiple streams of income, so you can start planning to live the life you really want to live, and get out of that trap and get out of that debt, because debt is the new slavery, people. Don't be a slave. All right, appreciate it, people. If you like this content, let me know. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Get in the comments if you got anything to say, and I appreciate you. See you next time, everybody. Peace.
I keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off.